The Teeny Tinker's dolls live in this home made by their creator, Rosie. It was planned for months and built to the best of her abilities. When I first saw this house, I thought it was adorable. But soon, the cracks began to show. Literal cracks. It's become really obvious how much work there is left to bring this place to its true potential. So, Rosie is stepping in to step the house up. Stay tuned to find out if she can turn this starter home into a dream home. Hi there, welcome to the Teeny Tinkers channel. I make ball-jointed doll and craft-related content. And as you might have guessed from the intro, this is a diorama revamp video. I have been itching to redo this for a while because I would like it to better reflect what I want from my dioramas and what I actually use them for. Without any further ado, let's get into it. The closet is definitely in need of a light switch. Plus, while I think the color of the room actually suits it very well, I believe the shelves and the wardrobes themselves could benefit from some paint and some new storage boxes. Also, instead of curating clothing in there that is random, I think making sure the wardrobe is filled with beautiful pastel clothes will give it a really beautiful finish. Finishing the ceilings is also high on the priority list. Again, I really do like this color for the bedroom, and this is one of the rooms I believe needs the fewest changes. Some floating shelves to put more decor up on the walls and to fill in the space will be truly beneficial and beautiful. Primarily, I need to paint the ceiling. The biggest project for the room will likely be constructing a new cat tree, so this poor cat has somewhere to sleep. I also need to add some batteries to the vines and to add some finishing touches. On to the living room. The living room is one of the rooms that needs a few more changes than the others. While the ceiling is actually finished in this room, we are still lacking light switches. I want to add some cool details like a greenhouse, maybe a fish tank, and again, improving the art that is on the walls. I also think the layout needs to switch up and we need to get rid of this TV because they don't need to watch TV anyways, they're dolls. This is going to be one of the rooms with the most work, but I'm looking forward to getting started. For the kids' room, again, we need things like light switches and painting the ceiling. I also am tired of this carpet. I'm ready to rip it up and give the floor a color wash and seal it in. The layout of this room needs some work as well, and I think I'm going to turn the bed a different direction to maximize the space in the room. Overall though, I'm happy with most of the props in this room and won't need too many more of those. For the mini office, my office has undergone quite a few changes and looks nothing like my mini office anymore, but I definitely want to change that. So we need things like pegboards and furniture and all kinds of accessories that I have in my own office. My desk also really needs a keyboard and mouse. These Billy bookcases I made really need to go. I don't have those in my office anymore, and I don't need them in my mini office. So instead, I need to add some floating shelves around my yellow door, and then I also need to create some furniture to replicate the furniture in my own office. I also want to attempt making a really tiny diorama that can go in the office. And then over this, I need to add a window. But before all of that, it's going to need some paint and to change up the colors. So definitely a lot of work ahead of me. This stairwell area needs an entire overhaul. I don't actually ever use the dining area of my diorama for pictures or almost anything, but I do love the stairs in this room. But instead, I want to turn this into a business area, somewhere for packing orders, taking product photos, social media, all of that good stuff. This mural has got to go, but I'm going to add a painted mural in its place. Overall, this is a small space, but it's going to be undergoing a lot of changes. I guess with that, we should go ahead and get started. Planning out each room and what I want it to look like, including what I need to make for each room. Then after this, I need to clear out what's already in there. So I go room by room and rip out everything that's going to be in the way of these renovations. For some rooms, I have to take out less than others. Some rooms need everything right down to the baseboards and the flooring ripped up, and some don't need anything but the props and the furniture pulled out. A lot of this furniture, especially things like shelving, are going to end up in rooms they weren't originally in. So they're also going to need paint and some other things added to them to make them fit in with the room. I don't like to be wasteful, so I do try and reuse as much as I can, even if it means ripping it up and turning it into something new. It's really weird seeing these rooms completely empty, but I'm really seeing the potential now, and I'm super excited to get started. So to start off this transformation, I'm going with the most drastic change. Painting, of course. Painting is an amazing way to add so much detail Painting is an amazing way to very quickly change the look of the space. I am a very paint-happy person, not only in my dioramas, but also in my real-life house. If my house is anything, it is not sad gray millennial house. It's actually closer to the dioramas than you might think. Although I really do wish I had a purple walk-in closet. That would be awesome. Here I'm painting out my tiny office. Originally my office was a deeper shade of pink and yellow, very much like what you're seeing here. But we had some flooding a few months ago and I ended up repainting the new walls. Super cute, I think. And onto the stairwell, where I am painting a very time-consuming but very cute mural. This mural was partly inspired by Pixielocks, who is a fellow Canadian YouTuber who does a lot of really cute pastel fashion type content. They also have amazing personal style, so I definitely recommend checking them out. But I went ahead and painted this mural color by color, alternating the top and the bottom so I could let the paint at least semi-dry between layers. While I didn't paint the kids' room, I did paint the ceiling and gave it this kind of extra edge that I've seen people do, and I think it looks really good. But overall, this is how everything looked once it was painted and dry. The colors are a lot more fun now, there's no more sad white walls, and I think they better reflect the types of styles and outfits and everything else I put my dolls in. I also, at the last minute, took the door down in my office so I could paint behind it a little better and also reset it with glue because it was definitely laying in a way that made it look really cracked and it wasn't cute. I'd already painted out the kids' room floor that really cute pink color, but I thought an area rug would be a lot of fun. Again, deciding to use what I had on hand, I used a chunk from the carpet that was in this room before. I trimmed it down so it was a little bit shorter and smaller, and I decided to paint it. While I was making the dioramas in the first place, I had tried to dye this carpet, and nothing was taking, so I don't know what this carpet is made of, but it needed to be painted. So I painted it first with the yellow, and then I went back with some lilac and added a checkered pattern. Once it was dry, I thought it looked pretty good. Doesn't matter if it's a little crunchy. Using the existing furniture pieces from my diorama, I made replicas of some of the furniture that was in my office, as well as this really cute shelf. Also, as a tip, if you're looking for furniture for your dioramas, check out your local dollar store and check out anything they have that's meant to sort cutlery. Also check out the bathroom storage, which is meant to hold things like makeup brushes or cotton swabs. Literally everything here is just hot glue, dowels, paint, and stuff I already had on hand. But it definitely was a big glow up, and I think everything looks so much better. I am especially in love with this little locker I made. While all of that was being painted, I had also low-key sculpted some pieces for the walls and decor items. There was actually a first batch that came out a bit wonky, but some of the pieces were still usable, so I did use them. They do need to be painted and finished, but first it's time for Doll of the Week. Doll of the Week is the time every week where I find teeny tinker sculpts in the wild and then shout out their owners here. This week's Doll of the Week is a repeat on Doll of the Week, and they have been here before for their really cute hollow customizations. So not only do they have two hollows, but they added a Ciel and a Luna to their collection as well. These girls are not customized yet, but I am dying to see them done. I absolutely love how Kietatsu has styled the hollows, and I'm just so excited to see what they do for the Celestial Squad as well. Thank you again so much, Kietatsu, for sharing, and I will be keeping an eye out for the finished versions. And if you would like to be considered for Doll of the Week, don't forget to share your pictures on Instagram. Even better than using the hashtags Teeny Tinkers and Teeny Tinkers Dolls, which I would love if you did. You can tag me at Teeny Tinkers or just send the pictures to me directly through DM. If you don't have Instagram, you can definitely just email me the photos as well. My email is in the description. But there is still so much left to do on this diorama revamp, so we should get back to that. This little shelf mimics the ones that I put my wigs in, but there was some resin bloat, so I had to sand down the sides of the boxes. Once that was done, I got to work painting all of the pieces. I also sculpted mini versions of my keyboard and mouse. This took way longer than expected, as they were actual replicas of my Logitech Pop mouse and keyboard. I had to make sure I got the keys right and individually made and placed each of these keys. I also made some squiggle shelves, which are really popular with Danish pastel decor, which is something I draw a lot of inspiration from. They're just so fun and whimsical. Also, this is officially day 2 of making the diorama, but I picked up right where I left off the night before. I painted a lot of these pieces with house paint, and that's just because it tends to be thicker and I only needed 1 coat. Sometimes with acrylics, it can run a bit thin and you can have to do multiple coats for the same things. I just didn't want to have to bother with that this time. For those who don't know, this is a shoe rack. Okay, hear me out. Doll bunk beds, $80. Shoe rack, $25. Now, I did have to reconfigure it and change it around, but it did work really nicely. This $3 desk organizer from the dollar store is about to meet some foam board and popsicle sticks. The idea is to turn it into a really cute sideboard table / cabinet. I needed another furniture piece for the bedroom that wasn't too bulky or thick. The room already has what's basically a double bed and a dresser in it, and I still need room for a cat tree as well. This ended up working perfectly. This is me testing to make sure that it's going to fit. I used some makeshift cardboard hinges and secured the door onto the base with hot glue. Before securing, I did paint it a beautiful green color, kind of in the sage family. Not quite mint, which is my favorite, but I think this works better for the bedroom. Okay, this looks super random and it may be hard to figure out what I'm doing, but I'm basically making a cat tree. I've made an actual cat tree for my actual cats way back when, so I kind of had an idea of how to do it. Basically, I used foam board and craft board to create the base, which needs to be heavy and sturdy. Then I used foam board to create the box or the cube, which would be where the cat would go inside to sleep, as well as a couple platforms for the cat to sit on. I covered everything in a minky fabric instead of carpet because I thought the carpet would look too thick for the scale. Once that was done, I was able to secure it together using wooden dowels and hot glue. I'm pretty happy with this, to be honest. Okay, time for some super quick shelves. I just used square dowels and popsicle sticks for this one. I do recommend the jumbo popsicle sticks if you can get your hands on them. These are the shelves for my office door. I definitely need to make some even smaller dolls to display here, specifically meant for this area, and do really fancy little outfits for them. Each like its own miniature art piece. But for now, let's get these shelves up on the wall. You can see I've started putting away some of the props now that the rooms are completely dry. It was getting hard crafting absolutely surrounded by props, so at this point it just became easier to put things away as I was making them. One of my absolutely favorite things about my actual office is the art wall that's behind me. The art on my wall is a combination of fan art as well as some art trades that I've done. All the art are depictions of my sculpts, and it makes me so happy. So of course I need to have this in my tiny office as well. I already did have it, but I needed to update and add some new ones into the mix. Note to self to make sure to do this every time I get a new print. Also, this room looks really dark, but the purple is actually quite light. Here I'm just starting to put some of the pieces, and you get kind of a quick preview of how cute that wig box turned out. Last year for the Christmas craft exchange, Beast and Babes BJD over on Instagram made me an absolutely lovely couch and chair set. I didn't want to damage the couch, but I did want to liven it up a bit. So I used hot glue to reupholster the couch. I made sure to only attach the glue to things that wouldn't be damaged when I pulled it off. This gift meant a lot to me, and I didn't want to hurt it. I just wanted to make it match the decor. I check out the plate of knickknacks I printed, including some tiny Saturns, and put a couple more things away and called it in. It's the next day, it's day 3, and I am ready to get more of the details finished. After I am thoroughly caffeinated, I start off the day by making a little storage shelf for under the stairwell. Once warmed up, it's time for the big project of the day, the mini diorama. Now, this was a ton of work, and if you want to see the entire process, go check out the video on my second channel, Teeny or Tinkers. This teeny tiny little diorama took me actually hours to make, and is mostly made out of foam board as well as printable paper. Everything is about 1/12 or 1/16 scale, so basically quarter scale for MSDs. There were a lot of parts to this, but I had an absolute blast making it. It serves as a shelf in my tiny office, but with the added details of being an entire little dollhouse. I think it'll be a lot of fun for photo stories and as a way to display my other tiny dolls. I'm really pleased with it. The time has come where I need to make both windows and curtains. Last time I used hot glue on the curtains and they honestly were not very nice, so this time I decided to just go ahead and sew them. Curtains are pretty much the easiest thing you can sew too. I didn't want the fabrics to be too loud because there's so much going on in the rooms already, so I picked some kind of neutral soft fabrics to work with. Once these were sewn, I went ahead and made the windows. These were simply made by printing out pictures of windows from Google and then adding popsicle sticks, which I painted or stained on top. It doesn't seem like you'd need to add the popsicle sticks to the window, but it really does help it look more three-dimensional. One day I'm going to figure out how to do a backlit window, and that will be incredible, but for now, these will do. I also tried my hand at making a resin fish tank. This definitely turned out as a good from far but far from good type project. I think if I gave myself more time to make good miniatures to put inside the fish tank, it would have turned out a lot better, but it was fun to make anyways. The sides are made out of acrylic plastic and it just hot glued together. Once I was done pinching gravel and making this fish tank, I went ahead and gave the Billy bookcase a quick coat of paint. The white paint on the bookcase was pretty thin, so the colors really made it look more finished and nicer quality. Once everything was dry and the resin was set, it was time to put everything away and put it all together. So let's check out how I did. I absolutely love how this closet came out. I definitely need to make more hangers so that I can put more clothes up, as well as adding a few colorful bins to these shelves. The cube shelf I added makes for a great place to hold sunglasses, bags, and extra blankets and things. But it's funny how much better just painting the wardrobe furniture made everything look. There's obviously still some imperfections, but there are definitely some marked improvements as well. And I did paint the ceilings and added light switches, so mission accomplished. All in all, this is a giant improvement. Lots of big changes in the bedroom as well. I've changed out the bedding and finally added lights to the vines. With the addition of an adorable cat tree as well as a really cute display cabinet and a window, I think that there's a lot more life in this room now. Again, we have painted the ceiling and added light switches and improved the general aesthetic. I think it looks way cozier in here. I mean, Penelope seems to think so. She's already cozying up and ready for a nap. Alright, let's look at the living room. The pink velvet couch was definitely the move. As well, I've changed the layout of the room and it feels way more open now. By removing the chaise on the couch, I was also able to add in a little coffee table. I'm really happy with how the window looks, and I also am really happy with how this little wall mount and guitar came together. Again, I definitely see opportunities to improve, but I think it is a much better space than it was before. Okay, so on to the stairwell. This room arguably had the most drastic change, but it was arguably the least finished room before. I need to secure a tiny camera and tiny camera lenses, but having this little photo display area is certainly super fun. I cannot express how much happier I am with this room. It feels so full of life and so fun and so energized, exactly like my real life office. I've added so many fun details and I see so much opportunity for even more. I think of all of the changes, this is my favorite room. I am in love. And finally, onto the kids' room. This space is a lot better for photos now. It's more open and it's brighter and it feels less cramped. Alright, but that's basically the whole house. Let me know what you think and which room was your favorite. If you're already subscribed, thanks so much for subscribing. If you're new here, I hope you like the content and will consider subscribing. As always, I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!